Carla Connor has always been a woman of conviction, a character whose steel and satin exterior has long concealed a complexity that Coronation Street viewers have devoured for years. So when the cobbles and corner shops of Weatherfield witnessed a proposal that felt like the slow, thrilling unpeeling of a secret, tender, surprising, and achingly true, it landed not as shock or spectacle, but as the natural, inevitable next beat in a relationship viewers have watched grow in quiet, stubborn ways. This is the story of that moment, the careful choreography that turned a routine evening into a turning point, the history and heart behind Carla and Lisa's bond, and why this proposal matters, not just as a plot point, but as an emotional milestone for two characters who have carried the show's grit and grace in equal measure. It began with the ordinary. A Wednesday evening, the muted glow of street lamps on wet pavement, the cozy buzz of the Rovers' return in the background. Coronation Street has always been strongest when it finds drama in the everyday, and this proposal leaned into that sensibility. There were no fireworks, no sweeping orchestral sting. Instead, the moment happened in the margins, a quiet corner of the bistro where the light was soft and the music was low. Carla, who has spent much of the last decade as the confident linchpin of the street, arrived with a small, deliberate nervousness that suggested this was one of the few times she couldn't rely on her usual armor. Lisa was waiting, calm and patient, a portrait of steady warmth that has become central to her relationship with Carla. The props were spare, a bouquet of wildflowers, not extravagant, but chosen for smell and texture, a single candle, and a folded card tucked into Carla's palm like a secret. Nothing shouted romance. Everything hummed with intention. To appreciate the weight of the proposal, you have to understand the history between Carla and Lisa. Their relationship has been a slow burn, not the insta-love of modern soap shorthand, but a gradual build, shared laughter, honest friction, and a series of choices that tested and then reinforced their trust. Carla, ever the survivor, has carried scars that shape how she loves. She is used to controlling the room, calling the shots, and building walls to protect a heart that's been bruised. Lisa offered a contrast, an openness tempered by realism, a willingness to stay with Carla through mess and healing. Over months and years, viewers saw them navigate misunderstandings, external pressures, and the small betrayals life hands any couple. Through it all, they kept returning to a foundation of hard-won intimacy. This was never a fairy tale rescue. Instead, it was an accumulation of tiny, meaningful decisions, staying up through the night when one of them needed to talk, choosing honesty over avoidance, defending each other when others doubted. That's the kind of groundwork that makes a proposal feel earned. When the moment came, it was all the more affecting for its simplicity. The camera lingered on small details, Carla's hands trembling as she reached into her pocket, the way Lisa's eyes softened when she realized what was happening, the catch in Carla's voice when she began to speak. There was no grand speech. Instead, a series of sentences that were honest and immediate. Carla didn't promise perfect days. She didn't promise to fix what life could break. She promised presence, to be there, broken and wonderful, for the small and the awful and everything in between. She apologized for past failures and thanked Lisa for the patient love that had changed her. When she asked Lisa to marry her, it felt less like a demand and more like a vulnerable offering. The answer, a quiet, wholehearted yes, came with a moment of pure release. Lisa's embrace, the way she pressed her forehead to Carla's, and the soft, Shared laughter afterward captured the relief of two people who had finally let down their defenses. It was a human moment, flawed, honest, and radiant. Soap proposals are often theatrical, flash mobs, interrupted vows, or high-stakes ultimatums. This one refused spectacle and chose intimacy. Dramatically, that was a smart choice. Coronation Street's strength lies in character-based storytelling, and by keeping the proposal grounded, the show allowed viewers who have been invested in Carla and Lisa's arc to feel the payoff more deeply. The scene also respected the characters' realities. Carla, with her history of hurt and control, needed to show vulnerability without losing her identity. Lisa needed to respond from a place of earned trust rather than romantic impulse. The writers gave both characters room to be fully themselves, which made the moment believable rather than manufactured. Finally, it opened doors. A proposal changes the narrative stakes, creating new opportunities for conflict, reconciliation, and growth. It raises questions about family reactions, the logistics of